This is the SwishWire podcast.
Welcome to SwishWire, guys. We have got on the pod today Devante Jones, a redshirt junior out of Coastal Carolina. He has been killing it this year, leading his team to a fantastic 12-4 record so far, competing for top spot in their conference in the Sun Belt. Devante, thanks for coming on the podcast today.
Hey, thank you. I
Good to
appreciate
have
y'all
you
for having
on.
me.
Yeah, it's great to have you
sir.
here. So we're going to get right down to it. A lot of players have this moment in their lives when something happens on the court and they just realize, damn, like I am a basketball player. I can play with anyone. Do you remember a specific player moment where you just knew you belonged out there?
Freshman year, they had us playing against West Virginia in the CBI tournament. It's a big game for us. Us being like a real small mid-major, playing against one of the Power Fives, us being very overlooked. So that game, just me ended with 32 points, playing against McCabe. He was one of the top guards at the time. It was a moment to us like, man, I really could do this. And I wasn't, in my opinion, I feel like I wasn't even close to where I'm at now. So that was probably one of the biggest moments of my life, knowing that if I put more work in, I could actually be one of probably the best guards in the country.
Mm-hmm. As a freshman too, that's insane because, that's probably such a huge confidence builder for you and, for your team to see not only you're legit, but the team's legit too. And you could go far with them as you've gone so far. Has there been a player you've ever tried to mold yourself after?
Throughout this season, I've been watching a lot of Dame Lillard, a mixture of Trae Young and Fred VanVleet. This Trae Young with his ability to score at a high level, making the defense hard to, just try to contain him. If it's three, him driving, making plays for his other players. But also with his ability to score, like us being all around the same height, it just helped me, picking their brains apart, watching their film. Also the Fred VanVleets, him being like in the same situation, him being overlooked, him going undrafted, him signing a big paycheck in the NBA. So just watching them three guys, just trying to mold my game after them three.
Yeah, you and I have talked a few times off camera. This is Tip-Off Talk, by the way. What's up?
Yep.
I watching your highlights, and I've caught a couple of your games too. I really have thought Fred VanVleet's a good comparison. A little undersized, but still like gets to the rim, can shoot from deep. Playmaking's an underrated part of both of your games. I think that's probably a really, really good comparison.
Yep. Appreciate it.
And something else with VanVleet that I picked up watching your game too is that you guys both play patiently. You both play at your pace effectively instead of just rushing things out there. And it's all an IQ thing. You could be the best player in the world, but if you don't have that patience, poise, and IQ, it won't really amount to anything. That's what makes some of these guards in the league, some of the best in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, so for yourself, this is your best year by far you've had. You said it yourself too. Your games came a long way. What part of your game do you feel has evolved the most since you started college?
In my opinion, I'll say, I had to say offense, but my defense is kind of got up there a lot. Me top 2 in the country in steals. I never thought that would happen, to be honest. But I have to say my offense, just being able to score, just create for my teammates, making it easier for them. Just me drawing all that attention, just building confidence in my teammates. I feel like the offensive side of my game has really grown a lot since my freshman year.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And you've even said that there's some teammates that you've played with that have helped your game out a lot. You said, and I quote, "I had to give kudos to last year's guys like Zach Cuthbertson, AJ Sanders, and all of them. They really helped me develop and made things easier for me instead of having to do all these things by myself." What exactly have they done for you, and how have they helped you?
Well, coming in as a freshman, playing with guys that was actually better than me at the time, it helped me grow. Because growing up, sometimes I was always the best player, always the guy to look to go score. But playing with Zach and AJ, AJ being a great 3-point shooter, Zach being an all-around guy, back to count on to get points in the clutch time. It just helped me. And them guys being great leaders. Whenever I wasn't on my stuff, they'll get on me, just help me like I'm doing this shit with these guys. So them two just molded me into the leader I am today.
And I just have I'm wondering, you just talked about, being a leader. How do you value that?
Oh, I value that a lot. I feel like a lot of people take it for granted, but it's something you can't take for granted. I feel like it don't matter how good your team is, how talented y'all are. If you don't have that one leader that everybody can count on or trust, then I feel like y'all won't go as far as y'all could go.
Well, that's a huge thing, and I'm curious. So we didn't really get to see you in your first year post high school, and I've got a question about your redshirt year. But you came from St. Augustine in New Orleans, where I know Avery Johnson came out of. I know Kerry Kittles came out of. Did you have any communication with those guys before you got to Coastal Carolina? And did they give you any advice?
I did. I had it wasn't a long conversation, but I had a conversation with Avery Johnson. He said he was just telling me how he know I could be a real good player, that how I was overlooked, but the stars gonna shine bright when it's time. So just him telling me just keep working, never look too far, just keep putting in the work, and everything gonna come together. And this year it seemed like everything coming together.
And I mean, he was right. You know, like I said, you had redshirted your first year on campus, and you came in, you won freshman of the year honors the next year. What did you work on during that off year to kind of set yourself up for such success during your second year?
I worked on a lot. I worked on just my body, most definitely. Like I said, me being an undersized guard at 6'1", I feel like me getting my body right can help me finish through contact. It can make me play longer in the game. Just taking on all that contact that I always receive, each and every game. Also, my shot. My shot was questionable my freshman year. I shot high, but I feel like I could have shot higher. Also, just working on my playmaking abilities, just working on different finishes like floaters, off both feet, different hands. I feel like me being an acrobat, it just confused a lot of big men, a lot of defenders in general. So that was a lot of things I worked on during off season.
Really rounded out your offensive game there a lot too.
Yeah, with injuries, you can either come back stronger or you can, let it get to you, affect your mindset, and be just a fraction of what you used to be. You got better after your injury. So how did you go about recovering, and what type of mindset did you have as you were recovering?
When I first got injured, I took it hard. I was so depressed, because I was like, I didn't know if I could come back from it. I didn't know if I'd be a better player or not. But talking to Alfred Payton, the point guard for the New York Knicks, he just gave me a lot of confidence, telling me it's a step in the journey. It's always gonna be bumps in the road. So he just told me just to keep working, be patient. It's all about God's timing. So, him giving me that confidence it just woke me up. It woke me up, and also my teammate had got hurt, Ibrahim Adiba. So when he got hurt, it's two leaders. So us being the team looking at us. So as I seen that each every day through practice, them leaning on us, like I quite for y'all to get back. We need y'all. It built so much confidence in me. So I just made sure I stay patient, stay grounded, stay humble, talk to my parents, just got myself better through all the rehab. And next year I just came back with a better season.
And having an injury like that, as Jay said, it could tear you down. We've seen that with a lot of players, and especially at a college level. Like if someone is a top prospect or projected to get drafted, and then they just suddenly go down with a big injury, that could affect their confidence, because it could be all in their head like, oh, am I going to really make it now? And either at that point, they could go undrafted and not make it, or they could get drafted and not be able to adjust to the league because of that confidence issue. But you were able to, you said at first you weren't confident with it, but then you're able to adjust and become more and more confident in yourself during this rehabbing process. And that's something that, all players have to do. They can't just, get in their head like that. And that's perfect.
Sure.
Yeah, and that confidence, I mean, it's a lot of players think they're good. You show it in every single category. I mean, you are in your sophomore year, you finished among the leaders in 10 different categories. This year, you are leading the conference in steals. You are up there in scoring. You're up there top 10 in assists, in field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage. I mean, there's not a category that you're not near the top 10 in. What did you do? I mean, how do you develop all of your game that way? How do you kind of spread out the growth that you've seemed to show from your freshman year?
Well, every summer I was talking to like a NBA scout, and they was telling me like what they wanted to see in my game. One thing that poked out was my rebounding. So that was something I just continue to strive at, continue to rebound. I always knew I could score. I feel like that was never the issue for me. But this year was easy for me. I got more talent around me. I can't take all the credit. You know, I got Ibrahim back. He was injured. I got Tariq Dixon, a very talented point guard. I got D'Anthony Tipler. I got Esau Mustafa. I got a lot of guys around me now. So now I can really elevate my game because the 2 previous years, it was a lot of my shoulders early. So I know I had to score a lot. I had the ball in my hands a lot. But now this year I get to show I can score off the ball. I can score on the ball. And that's just something that really helps my game. And it's an eye-opener for NBA scouts.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're talking about a league where everyone, I mean, there are no scrubs in the NBA. Everyone can play. You can't just be a one-dimensional guy. You got to be able to do it all. And you're showing that night in, night out, you know, averaging a steal more than number 2 in the conference. You're up there and scoring. It's showing. It's showing a lot of people what you can do.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah, you said you've talked to scouts in the past, and that like even as of recently, have you had a scout come to you in the past and say, I don't know, you said that one said they want to see more of your rebounding, right? Have you had a scout come back and say, you've really improved on this part of your game, this is what we like to see? Have you had a situation like that?
Yeah, it's been a lot. They haven't came to me personally this year, but they contacted people around me and they told me that they believe I'm one of the best guards in the country right now. Like what I'm doing is historical for Coastal Carolina University, and I just took all that as, you know, finally my hard work paying off. But I can't get too comfortable because once you get too comfortable, that's when your opponents catch up. So I took all that advice, and I'm just trying to just build on it and just keep going.
You got to have that adaptability because we see some players, you know, they reach a point where, you know, they're really good, but then they get comfortable and they don't adapt. And it happens to a lot of players at all levels. And that mindset, it's something to keep improving throughout your career. That's something you have to have.
Yeah, not including your current teammates, who would you say is the best player you've ever played with or against?
Well, in high school, I feel like the best player I played against was Trae Young, and the best player I played with was Jared Butler.
Jared Butler from Baylor. Yeah, we just had his boy Maceo Teague on a week ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Trae Young's my second favorite player in the league, next to LeBron as well. Those are definitely two killers on the court.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you mentioned you've got so many guys around you that can produce. They can do a lot of different things on the court. Coastal Carolina, arguably one of the top offenses in the country. You're, I think, 9th in points per game. I think you're 7th in 3-point field goal percentage. What's it do for your confidence knowing that you're surrounded by guys who are threats to score?
My confidence is sky high. It's like it takes a lot of pressure off my shoulders, man. I know I can count on other people to score, to make plays, and I can just, you know, rely on them, and I can focus more on my defense. It's a great feeling because, like I said, like the last couple of years, like my defense wasn't where it was supposed to be because I had to do so much on the offensive end. But now that I got a lot of playmakers around me, scores, and people that can assist the ball, it's like now I can just calm down the offense a little bit, breathe, you know, like I said, be patient, calm, and just let the game cut to me because like a lot of great players or good players at that, if they feel like they're the best on the team, they feel they got to make every single play. And I feel like that's what a lot of people struggle at. But me, just trusting your teammates, I feel like that's part of the game. If you don't trust your teammates, then it won't work. So just having other guys around you makes everything easier.
I'm really curious. I mean, you got 5 guys on your team right now, including you, that are shooting between 43 and 56% from 3. How much does that open up the floor for you? I mean, do you just see, you know, empty road ahead of you half the time?
I wish that I could say I could, but it's just like every night it's either I'm getting boxing one or I'm getting like they overplaying me. But that's what comes into where like I trust in my teammates. So them making shots and them be able to play make without me having the ball is amazing because like I can rest and I just believe in those guys. So it makes the game so much easier for me.
You got that kind of gravity like Steph Curry. Everything just opens up for your teammates just because you're on the court with them.
Yeah.
So you're either shooting 50% from three. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
And knock them in with that extra space.
Yeah.
You were just talking about, how well-rounded your team is, that you don't have to be the only guy, everyone chips in, everyone eats. And statistically, it proves that your whole squad has a great net rating at plus 23 as a team, but you yourself, you have a plus 50 net rating. How do you keep yourself so locked in on both ends of the floor all the time?
I know my role. I play a big role in this team. Coach told me from day one that you got to be a two-way player, and that definitely help this team. So this year I just focus on just playing both ends of the floor. Like you said, just being patient. This is my third year, so I understand the system. I understand this conference. I know that this conference is wild. Sometimes you're gonna get the team's best, sometimes you're gonna get their worst. So I got to take advantage of every opportunity that I get. And I told my guys that don't take no team lightly, no matter what the record is, because any team can come in and just hit shots. So it just goes back to leadership. Just knowing that if I take a day off, then my team feel like they can take a day off, and that's just what we're gonna fall off at.
I got you. And I'm curious. I mean, with a rating like that, you have to be both sides of the ball. You can't just pick one or the other. No one's a plus 50 on offense and even on defense. Do you consider yourself a defensive guy who can get buckets, or are you a bucket getter who can get stops? Where's your pride? Where you work?
My pride's really on defense because I know I can score. A lot of people believe I can score, but a lot of people doubt my defense. So I just try to, like I said, prove everybody wrong like I've been doing my whole life. So on defense, I just want to sit down and show everybody that no matter how tall I am, no matter what y'all think, I can go guard your best player and he's going to get half his average.
Amen to that.
Hard over height.
There it is.
That's a great mindset to have.
Sure.
Coastal Carolina hasn't been to the NCAA tournament since 2015. You're currently tied for first place in your conference. What would it mean to lead your team back to the promised land?
Man, it means so much because the last 2 years have been terrible. I think we've been at below 500 and barely and like even at 500 the previous 2 years. So just knowing that all the hard work I put in, this team put in, just the love the community showed, I feel like they deserve this. We deserve this. We've been overlooked for a long time. So just bringing a ring back to Conway would be an amazing feeling.
I mean, you guys have been a family for years. I think you have 2 freshmen on the roster right now. The rest are juniors and seniors and a couple sophomores. I mean, you guys have been grinding through this for a while now.
Exactly.
So on that note, you mentioned earlier, you're having a historic season for Coastal Carolina. No one's putting that out there, but you have a chance to do something that no one else has ever done in the history of the program, which is you not only have a chance to play in the NBA, but you have a chance to be drafted. What would that mean to you to be the first Coastal Carolina player to achieve that?
It's crazy because like I've never really thought about that until like it was like a couple weeks ago. Just a lot of people kept DMing me, texting me, and just telling me that, man, you can get drafted. Like the way you plan, just keep doing it. It was crazy because like thinking about that since I was 8, just getting drafted, just walk, we can't walk across the stage, but just putting that hat on, talking to the commissioner, it would be a crazy feeling. To be able to take care of my parents. That's been the main goal for me since I touched the ball. That's the reason I touched the ball, just to take care of them because they work so hard. They get up very early, go to sleep late. So just being able to take care of them for the rest of my life, man, just a dream come true.
When you walk on the court, do you walk on with the mindset of I'm looking to make scouts, like I'm looking to turn scouts' heads about me, or are you walking on the court to just say, I'm going to play this game the way I play?
I feel like early in my college career, I wanted to turn scouts' head, but now it's like every time I step on the court, I feel like I got a target on my back. So I never know who's watching. So I feel like every time I step on the court, I got to play my best. I don't want no scout making no excuses like, I want to watch him play. He was lackadaisical. So every time I step on the court, I just want to give the fans a crowd. I want to make my teammates proud of me. And obviously I want to win, but it's not always the outcome. But just knowing that I gave him my all, and we played the whole 40 minutes the best we could. You know, that's all I can ask for.
I mean, you guys have had a great season so far. Like we mentioned, you are tied for the lead in your conference. You're leading your division right now. I mean, you guys have a very bright end of the season coming up, I think. So part of the question is, how did you get to be the player that you are today? So we've got a couple training questions for you that we're curious how you got to where you're at. We know that there's a bunch of players out there who would love to have your level of success. You know, you have, like we've said, you have NBA prospects coming up, and you're not a top 10 program. There are different ways to do it, and you're doing it. So we wanted to ask you a couple of things about how you got to where you're at now.
I feel like for me, it started with being around the right people. You got to surround yourself with a small circle that want to see you be great. Because it's a lot of people that are surrounded by people that want to see them do good, but not better than them. So, but I also got a lot of confidence after seeing John Morant do what he did, you know, coming from a mid-major like Murray State. You know, that also built a lot of confidence in me. Just knowing that, no matter, like I said, you don't know who's watching. You know, he getting picked. He got an offer from Murray State after playing in the back gym. You know, after a coach wanted to get like something like a concession stand. So me reading that story, it was crazy. But for all the small kids that's overlooked, all I gotta say is, man, just keep working. It might be dark now, but like I said, the star will shine at the right time. So no matter what you're going through, you know, we all been through it. All the small guards been through it. Just keep going, keep working, and never sell yourself short. Because I feel like we all destined to be great.
It's in everyone. Greatness is in everyone.
Mm-hmm. And you got to surround yourself with the right people that actually want to see you succeed, rather than seeing you succeed and for their personal benefit, saying, you know, like, I was there for that, you know, just to say that. You know, you want to see people that actually want to see you do it. And
exactly.
And for Coastal Carolina, you're obviously the floor general for them. And when watching you play, you have such a high basketball IQ. You read defenses like a book, and you find the open man frequently, or you get a bucket for yourself. How did you develop such a high IQ?
It all came with experience. I feel like my freshman year in college really, it really picked my game apart. Like, I was making terrible decisions. I was playing too fast. But as like sophomore year to this year, it's just everything slowed down for me. I feel like I always had the IQ, but it was just timing for me. I always wanted to get the home run like in one play, but my coach told me it's play at a time. You know, everything gonna come together. And like I said, surrounding myself with great players to help me make it easier for them. It was also easier for myself. So just being around great players make it easier also.
Now, as a guy who, you know, you had mentioned the little guards out there. You talked about guys who you try and mimic on the court, guys who are like Fred VanVleet, who are a little smaller, Dame Lillard. Now, one of the best ways to make up for maybe that height difference when you're talking about maybe some bigger defenders out there, getting to the free throw line. And you are one of the best in the country at using your body to draw contact. Right now, you are first in made free throws in the Sun Belt. How do you create this or no, I don't want to say create, but how do you work on this skill? I mean, is it a game by game thing? Do you analyze the defense? Is it something you do?
First, I feel like it starts off in the weight room. You gotta prep your body up for the type of contact that you're about to receive, you know, each night. But it's also about watching film, just knowing who you can attack on the defensive end, just knowing what gaps to choose. It's just a mindset thing, and also go back to IQ. If you know you're a good free throw shooter, you should want to get fouled. You know, that should be something that's part of your game. Just watching like the Steph Currys or the Klay Thompsons, those the very high free throw shooters. Just watching them, it just helped me out a lot. Taking my free throw shooting very serious in the off season. So like I said, go back to IQ, you know, prepping your body, knowing that you can make free throws. You want to go to the free throw line if they're free. You know, it's probably the easiest shot in the game besides a layup. So I just took pride in that.
Mm-hmm. The ability to draw contact is obviously something that, you know, can't go overlooked. A lot of people, they don't like to watch that when they watch basketball, but like to make yourself great, that's something that, you have to do. It's literally just extra points. And obviously you have a really high basketball IQ. But when I watch you play, one thing that stands above the rest for me is your passing ability. When I watch you, I honestly see like you're probably one of the best passers in the entire nation. So what do you do in the gym to perfect this?
Honestly, I be with an assistant coach. He set up like different type of drills while I'm just passing the ball. I have a teammate with me, and if I don't pass the ball to the perfect pocket, like that rep won't count. So we'll just do that, constantly during the workout. And like every time I mess up, I have to run for it. So it's just like I hate running. So it just got in my brain to like make the perfect pass, makes it easier for my teammate to make the shot, have a high rate of making the shot than them catching at their legs or above their head or something like that. So I got to give credit to the coaching staff.
With that discipline, you're bound to perfect that aspect of your game in any aspect.
Yeah, and it shows in your game. You're ninth right now in turnover percentage in the entire conference. I mean, for a high usage player, those numbers are typically for guys who play 3-5 minutes a game, not 32. So what they're doing, it's working. And speaking of working, I mean, you have increased your percentages across the board from 2, from 3, even your free throws, you're up to 88%. But you increased 14% from last year from behind the arc, which is massive. So what have you done since last year to make such a huge stride? What are you working on in the gym?
Yeah, my 3-point percent, that was something like the scouts really, pointed out to me. They felt like I wasn't a shooter, and I just felt like that wasn't true. Because last year, like I said, when Debo got hurt, Madiba, I had the ball in my hand, so I was taking tough threes, side steps. So this year, this offseason, I worked on the side steps, taking a lot of threes, making 1,000 shots every day during the summer. I just took pride in that because I just want to show everybody that I can shoot the ball at a high level. I just needed to work on it. Like I said, also going back to my teammates, sometimes I get a lot of them shots, be knocked down every time. So just playing with a group of guys that can also have very good IQ and can find me when I'm open, it also make it easier for my percentages because I know it's going there when I'm open.
Yeah, it's huge. And that comes back to being 2-3 years together on the court. You guys get to work together. You get to find each other's spots more frequently.
Yeah.
Showing.
You're a scrappy defender and you're really good at getting into the passing lanes. What advice can you give to other small players to improve defensively?
Watch a lot of film because the proof is in the pudding. A lot of the film shows like what players love to do. They do it naturally. So it's like as I'm watching film, it's like I'm making certain reasons why I need to be. Because mostly they're gonna make those same passes the day we play them. So it's like it's easy. It's like I know they plays. So it's like when I get a steal, it's like sometimes I'll be surprised because like the ball be right in my hand. So for everybody watching, make sure y'all watch a lot of film, and it's the small details that always count.
I want to follow up on that by asking, what is the best piece of advice anyone has ever given you, whether it's a pro player, someone in your life personally? What's the best piece of advice that you've ever heard?
I would have to say that size doesn't matter. I heard that from Victor Oladipo. I went to his camp. I think it was a couple years ago. He seen me play like in a little scrimmage, and when I was playing against like 6'4" guards, 6'5" guards, and I did good the whole weekend. He just telling me size doesn't matter. It's guards in the league that's short, but they bring it every night, and that's what makes them separate themselves. So that's probably the best advice that I've got my whole life.
I've always liked that one quote. It's it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog.
Yep.
I feel like you are the epitome of that.
Yep.
Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah. Heart over height. We talked about your IQ, your passing ability, your all-around game as a whole. No matter how tall you are, if you have that IQ and that all-around game, I mean, you're bound to be great because with that, you're pretty much able to control the entire pace of the game. And we've seen guys over the years, as you said, Damian Lillard, Trae Young, guys like Isaiah Thomas, all smaller guards, Kemba Walker, and with their IQ and, all of that, their all-around ability on offense, they're pretty much able to do that. It's literally heart over height.
Yeah.
And, we've mentioned a lot that you contribute in tons of areas. You contribute on defense, you contribute in the passing game, rebounding, and obviously you can score the ball. I'm curious, what part of your game is your favorite? I know you mentioned that you make your money on defense, but I'm gonna go with the one that you're the proudest of. What was maybe the hardest thing for you to develop?
I'll have to say scoring because every night I see a lot of different defenses. So it's like me being able to score. Upe South Al, and I was able to score 26 while getting boxing one. That was crazy to me because I feel like my freshman year when I was getting boxing one, I was having like 8 points and I was shooting like 20% from the field. But now it's like I can shoot a more accurate percentage while I get boxing one. It's like it doesn't even faze me no more. So that's just something I'm really glad I learned to do because a lot of people get boxing one and when they ain't touched the ball in a while, once they finally touch it, they'll throw up a crazy shot. But that's not me. I just always try to get the best shot possible. So I feel like it all falls down to IQ, my IQ on offense.
All right, and you know what? That's going to be one of those things we've talked about. You're not the biggest guard, but you might have one of the biggest IQs in the league, and that's going to be one of those things that I think any of us who have seen you play, it stands out. It stands out to us, to I'm sure coaches and scouts too.
Yep.
So we've got a couple questions for you about. We like to ask a couple questions about the league, what some of your picks are, and things like that. So Jay, you want to get us started?
Yeah, this one is always one that sparks a bit of a debate. We've heard all kinds of answers, but I just want to ask you personally, who do you think is the GOAT?
I gotta say LeBron.
Yes, sir.
I gotta say LeBron just because of like no matter what team he's on, like he can bring them to the finals, and I feel like that's something special. Like he's an all-around player, rebounding, defense, passing, scoring, and he can guard 1 through 5. So it's like he's just crazy, freak of nature.
I agree with your pick. I know these guys don't, but I got your back.
I'll say physically, there's never been a guy like him in the league.
IQ too. I mean, even though I think it's Jordan, I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
As of right now, for this season, who is your early finals pick?
I have to say the Lakers and the Nets.
Lakers and Nets. That's a
That'd be a
popular.
really entertaining finals.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
I honestly think that Lakers Celtics is going to happen, and then whoever wins, they get that 18th. I think that'll be the most entertaining scenario. But that could definitely happen.
I'm curious. So you mentioned a whole bunch of guards in the league that you kind of try and mold your game after. So I got a two-parter for you. First one, who do you think is the best guard in the league? And then who's the guard that you want to play against the most?
The best guard in the league. And we talking about right now, I'm going with Trae Young.
Let's go.
Ooh, okay.
If we talking about overall, I'm going with Steph. And
sure.
somebody I want to play right now is Steph and Ja Morant.
Okay. All right.
Is that because you feel like your story can kind of compare to his?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. So one of the things coming out of with Dame Lillard coming out of Weber State, one of the things I knew he was going to succeed at was scoring the ball. Because when you're at one of those mid majors and you're responsible for scoring, you've seen everything. Like you said, you've seen a box on one. You've been double teamed, triple teamed. Like it's going to be easy in the league when you're going 1-on-1.
Yeah.
That's going to be a huge thing for you that I think you and guys like Dame, like CJ, like Steph, who have seen those crazy defenses, it's going to be a piece of cake when you finally get that 1-on-1 matchup.
Exactly.
So Devante, man, we appreciate you coming on. We can see just from having a conversation with you, man, you got history written all over your future. And we are going to have a ton of fun watching you play in your conference tournament, hopefully in the NCAA tournament this year, and hopefully in the NBA in the future. We're looking forward to seeing some big stuff out of you.
I just want to say thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Yeah,
No, thank you for coming on, man.
Anytime.
We appreciate it. Best of luck in the future. And thanks for listening to SwishWire podcast today, fellas.